Good morning, everybody. I'm Mark Zinian this morning for Eric Parker, and we begin our program right now with Ukraine and the war that's been raging for 2 years. There are rising concerns whether the U.S. will keep supporting Ukraine on the battlefield, with some headlines even posing the question, is Vladimir Putin winning? Here to talk more about the current situation this morning is Myron Kolinsky. He is the organization director of the Ukrainian National Home in Hartford. Myron, good morning. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
How do you feel right now about where things stand? I know that there was a key city that was just taken by Russian forces within the past couple of weeks. Do you still have hope?
We definitely still have hope, and we definitely feel the support from the U.S. and from other countries in the world. This weekend being the second anniversary of the war, the invasion into Ukraine, there are over 400 peaceful rallies happening all over the world today. So we definitely feel there's definitely support. Many people tell us that they definitely support us, and the U.S. Senate has passed the $60 billion Ukraine funding bill, and we're hoping that the House of Representatives follow suit.
And I want to ask you about that, but you mentioned the event coming up this afternoon. That is in Hartford at 1 o'clock?
Yes, it is. It's Connecticut stands with Ukraine. It's at 1 p.m. at the state capitol in Hartford today.
Okay. And that's open to anyone?
Absolutely. Anybody who wants to come and show their support, welcome to have you.
You mentioned the funding situation. Obviously, this is something that's getting a lot of attention right now in Washington for the action or maybe the lack thereof. This is concerning for a lot of people who, are kind of surprised in some way that this financial battle is still playing out. Are you worried about the implications and the impact if this money isn't approved?
We're very hopeful that the Ukraine funding bill will be passed in the House of Representatives. There is a lot of support on a worldwide basis. The Ukrainian World Congress has urged the House of Representatives in the United States to take up the Ukraine funding bill, and we're very hopeful. In the past, this war has raged for 10 years. With the invasion of Crimea, and the last 2 years with the incursion into other parts of Ukraine. So we are still very hopeful, and we feel that the American people will support, and the House of Representatives will support the way the U.S. Senate did last week.
A lot of people are coming out encouraging the financial support. The Ukrainian Congress Committee of America said if Ukraine stops fighting, it will cease to exist. Do you believe that?
I believe that would be the case, and if you look back in the 10-year history of the war, the support that's come through, and there were times where it was a little tenuous, and it ended up working out, where people realized that if the world doesn't support Ukraine today, they're going to be at their doorstep tomorrow. So, and that's one thing that kind of keeps us hopeful too, as a Ukrainian American community here in Connecticut.
We saw so much support here in Connecticut when the war started. Do you still feel that support from the community throughout Connecticut? Do you still see it?
We definitely do, especially on the humanitarian side. 2 years ago, we had the humanitarian drive, and we continue to do that. And we actually had that. We've had that for the last 10 years. We've been doing, whether it's food, medical supplies, or clothing, we've been doing it for 10 years already through the United Ukrainian American Relief Committee. And we continue to do it. And we still have people calling us at the Ukrainian National Home of Hartford asking what they can do to help, whether it's financial or donations as far as food, medical, or clothing.
And we still have refugees here in Connecticut. When the war started, several hundred, correct me if I'm wrong, came here, right?
Absolutely. And our organizations are cooperating with the organizations that have brought over and supported the refugees. We definitely work with them, and we're very happy to do so, because like I mentioned in the past, my parents were refugees from Ukraine. My father came to the U.S. to Hartford in 1949, and my mother came in 1950. And the United Ukrainian American Relief Committee, which has been in existence since 1944, helped my parents at that time. So we continue to help those that are coming over today.
Giving back still to this day.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a nation of immigrants, right?
Absolutely. And it's very close to our hearts, especially to me personally, because of my parents' trek from Europe. So,
is there still a lot of interest and hope that folks want to go back home one day? They want to be able to move back to Ukraine?
I would say most people that have come here, because normally it's the spouses, it's the wives and the children that are here, and the husbands are back in Ukraine.
Fighting.
Yes, primarily, yes. Yeah. And so I think that definitely there's a lot of families that want to be reunited, but they want to be reunited in Ukraine. So,
a year ago you told me the Ukrainian people are very resilient. I asked you where you thought you would be in a year, and here we are a year later. The battle continues. More losses, more horrible loss of life. Why is this so important for people in this country to understand what's going on there?
It's important because the Ukrainian people, as the president of Ukraine has mentioned, they're ready to fight the battle. They just need the support. They need the financial support in order to continue this. And the word resilience. We're talking 2 years later, but they're still doing what they need to do. They know it's on their. When you look at World War II, a lot of the battles that happened were actually fought on Ukrainian territory. So today it's kind of a repeat of history, and it definitely, it's, if you use the example of if someone came to your house and said this is no longer your house, or your house was destroyed, you would still want to fight for your land. Yes. and for your existence. And I think that's really the thing that keeps them going in Ukraine.
Myron,
today.
Thank you very much for joining us, and hopefully we can have you back in a year.
Okay.
And we can focus on some good news.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, and good luck at your event coming up this afternoon, open to everybody.
Thank you.